Welcome to another season of Tha CYPHER with KJ and Mal. This is season 5.
That's right.
Episode 40.
Yeah.
Vertical Life, and it's going down in the real way. Hey, man. 2023.
Yep.
We here, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Happy New Year to all the Tha CYPHER fans out there, man.
Yeah, man.
The CYPHER fans, anyway.
Right.
I'm about to kick it to my partner, real gentleman Leisure.
Yeah.
What's going on, man?
What up, K? How you doing, man?
I'm chilling, man.
Good. New Year good?
Hey, man, I feel good.
You feel good?
Yeah, I had a bad thing, man. That's why my lip. That's why I'm crazy right now. Y'all be cool. Ain't no damn stroke, so
Yeah.
y'all be cool.
Yeah,
man. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
man. So
Yeah.
I'm good though.
That's
man.
what's up, man.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what's up. Everything good. Season 5, man. 40 episode. Damn.
Man,
Long
season
road,
5,
man. We
that's
done came a
over,
long
man.
way, too.
Long way, man. Deep
Yeah.
in, Les Ball, man. Shout out to you, man. You've been there since day one.
Day
bro.
one. Yep.
Since day one, man. And right now, man, on the show, we bring the heavy hitters on here. And I had to bring my partner back, man. Y'all knew him as the VP of Global Services. But right now, man, he's creating his own app. It's called Vertical Life. He's the app creator right now, Entrepreneur Negro.
Yeah.
My guy. Y'all give it up for Ricardo Warfield.
Ricardo. What up, brother?
How you doing, brother?
What's
good,
going on with
man.
Ricardo?
Good to see y'all again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ricardo got wings, man. What's going on, man? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What you been doing since the podcast, bro?
Man, it's been a lot different since the podcast last time because I think a few months after I was with you guys, I decided that I was gonna make an entrepreneurial transition because I had been in the corporate environment for 21 years.
Right.
And so, I decided to launch a startup, Vertical Life. Y'all have heard me for, the entire time of my career. I'm always talking about goals.
Yeah.
And, Vertical Life, right? Moving up. And
Right.
And it was all about getting to that VP job. And so, to actually move back home and then chop it up with you guys and, talk about that was pretty cool. But, the last year, basically, I've been working on the startup, and we built a web platform that basically helps make it easier for people to manage their goals, create a plan for life,
Right.
Understand what your career options are, how much you can make in certain career paths, what are the requirements in that career, give you a map of what's the shortest distance to that career, right?
Right.
The Uber for your career, right? And
Yeah.
as I explained before, like for me, it was having a mentor that set me on a path to go after that goal.
Yeah.
And the pace and the organization, the structure, and just being focused
Right.
on it. That really propelled me along the way. So
Yeah.
that's what Vertical Life is it's just really a culmination of that experience, but also just making it easier, man, because it's hard to figure out how to navigate life, how to navigate careers, and it really shouldn't be that difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's it's been a very different time.
Yeah.
Well, so what made you like, okay, I'm gonna quit my job and like this is it?
Yeah.
This had been an idea that I had since 2009. Right. And when I had the idea because when I looked up 3 jobs, after, I met the mentor and, kind of moving, I realized like my income is, double after, making 3 moves.
Right.
And so, I realized, well, nobody was really training you on how to look at your career and upward mobility,
Yeah.
In your career, right? 'Cause
Right.
you got to keep moving.
Exactly.
Right? Like no matter what field you're in.
Right. Right.
And so, I had that idea. I was like, man, like this goal stuff, if you could bottle it up and sell it, like what it would do for people just to give them that focus and, kind of move ahead. And so, I was doing it part-time and, as a hobby, but as my jobs were getting bigger, it was difficult to kind of, keep it going and what have you. And so, I'm at a great point. I got to that VP job and, did really, really well, in it. And so I felt like, now's the time to kind of reset and kind of look at, all right, well, what's the next step for me, and time is ticking, right? And so just the amount of energy and effort that you want to do to kind of reinvent a career,
Right.
I just felt like now's a good time.
It's good
so
to-
so let's go for it.
So you wanted to start it from the simple fact you wanted to, like, I guess you wanted to give people a more transparency on like what you can do. These are the steps you need to do. Now, did you get that idea on some of the struggles you was dealing with as far as getting to the point where you was?
Absolutely.
So you wanted just to create a platform like, look, these are some of my experiences. Do this right here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because, you think about how, it's daunting when you think about a career.
Right.
And we were coming out of high school, I was like, I'm thinking, well, once you turn 18 and you leave high school, because, we had a good time in high school.
Oh, yes, we did.
I guess it's all downhill, in
Right.
life, from there, right? Because you don't have it really figured out,
Right.
And even if, you got parents that are encouraging you to go to college or what
Right.
have you, if you don't know what's on the other side of college, then you on a path not necessarily knowing where you're going to be.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? And
Yeah.
so, so it was difficult to figure out how to transition from college or from high school to college to career
Right.
and do that successfully.
Right.
And my mentor and my experience is it's just been the shortest distance, between where you at and your goal is a straight line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so if I know I want to be there and I got to be there by a certain age in order to really be, competitive and give myself time to build the skills up.
Right.
Well, that's pretty
Exactly.
simple,
Exactly.
and we all should know that,
Right.
and like I shared before, like my parents, didn't have, careers, like that,
Yeah.
big global
Yeah.
careers, executive, careers. And so, but they encouraged me all the time to go to school and make some positive moves, but not to the extent that very specifically you can go and make, in your 50 grand plus, in your early 20s.
Yeah.
And then you need to move like this, you need to get a mentor by this point. You conduct yourself this kind of way,
Right.
so that you're making 100 by 30.
Yeah.
And this is not,
Right.
a lot of passive income stuff and things that you hear a lot about on social media, right? This is real, like, this is predictable. This is career, like this is build the skills for
Right.
the career that you want to have,
Exactly.
for the kind of life that you want to
Yeah.
have, And so, so I just wanted to set out to do something that made it simpler, because a lot of people, they don't get that advice in high school. They don't get that advice at home.
Right.
And then they don't get an opportunity to meet with mentors that are, really helpful and serious.
Like they talk about the career, but they don't tell you that dash in between that.
Right.
The shortfalls. Avoid this. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
For
dope,
sure.
man. I wish I might have would have, man.
Yeah.
Man, they like be like, what you gonna do, boy?
Yeah.
Time don't waste for nothing. That's just it.
Right.
That's it.
That's the handbook.
Yeah.
Right.
Hope for the best.
Right.
So Ricardo, what's your target market with the Vertical Life app?
Yeah, it's when you're talking about like business plans and investors and things like that, they want you to solve a really niche problem, right?
Yeah.
And so with and what they hate is well, everybody's my target market, because obviously that's not the case. But I mean, when you think about how people are managing their goals today, right? Like if you ask people really close to you, like where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They might not be very specific about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, that's people that are, at all ages, of life, right?
Yeah.
But what we've been doing over, the past 3 months is really, trying to focus in on education.
Yeah.
As a vertical, because the biggest impact, you think about when we were in high school, right, and not necessarily knowing,
Right.
and so we weren't necessarily strategic,
Yeah.
in how we kind of navigated,
Right.
school and things.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, I went
Right.
to MTSU and flunked out real quick, and it meant nothing, to
Yeah.
me. I just like, well, let me pick that major.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I was undecided for 2 years, but I was going to college, so I felt like I was at least taking
Right.
a
Proper
step.
steps. Yeah.
But we've been getting great feedback from middle school principals, saying that kids need to start thinking about their goals in their career in the 8th grade,
Right.
so that they can know the clubs, the classes, what's important in high school, why teachers are specifying certain things are important, and so forth, right?
Yeah.
Right.
To help them get the context earlier.
Right.
Because in high school, they don't focus on career, readiness, right?
Yeah.
But you got so many kids that are deciding that I'm not going to go to college after high school. Well, the knowledge that you would have got to really understand the game is going to come later, right? So it's almost like you got to kind of bring the knowledge, further upstream to young people
Right.
when they're in that middle school, high school age, So we've been focusing on that, talking to schools, talking to nonprofit,
Right.
organizations. I think that's where we can have the biggest impact, right? People who don't necessarily know, they can make a more deliberate,
Right.
education, decision, career.
So with
decision.
that, like you said, the middle schools here. So with that, of course, you would probably have to kind of like fix it where they would be more where they can understand it, because a lot of the terminology will be a lot big. So you would probably have to, I guess, work out a whole new different thing.
Well,
With that, or I mean,
yeah, and so that's
You see what I'm saying?
It's an excellent point. And
Right,
so,
right,
so
right.
When we thought about this,
Yeah.
we simplified it from the beginning,
Right.
Because I mean,
that's the best way. Yeah,
But I know people that are 50 that don't feel very confident in their career and how they manage
exactly,
their career, right?
exactly.
And so this terminology might be foreign, at that place as well, right?
Right,
So
right.
we just kind of focused on, we look at your age and we automatically assume, okay, you need a certain type of goals, right? You need a wealth creation goal, you need a health goal, you need education, goals, and so we recommend certain goals. And
Right.
And so and all that language is pretty
self-explanatory. Okay.
But then when we get to the careers, we show careers based on how much money you can make over time, right? And so. So it's not going to be here's a $40,000 job that you could, get at this place.
Right.
It's this career, does this, and you could make $8 million over the course of your career if you selected this path. Here's how many people are in that space. Here's the kind of education that's required, the experience that's required.
Right.
And, add this to your goal in one click. And so it just gives you the path, and here's the schools that are near you, and so forth.
Right.
But it gives you that context of I can make $8 million. And if you are in the 8th grade, a senior in high school, or you in grad school,
right,
I can make $8 million is real simple to understand.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So that way we have kind of made it to where
it cut out a lot of the BS too, like a lot of the short stops along the way.
Correct.
You will have a goal, a point, boom, hit this, knock that off, then boom. You ain't got to worry about the other. If you stay on that path, you know what I'm saying?
And it's always in your hand.
Yeah. That's dope, man.
Sure is, man.
Yeah, that's dope.
I just want to ask this, Ricardo. How did you, how your goals help you
Right.
to build your career focus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I the biggest thing, for me was, when my mentor said, hey, like, I think, you should take yourself more seriously.
Right.
I think that, you're, with your communication alone, you could make, $90,000 a year at a company like this, but he said, why not get back in school and go be a president and make $300,000, a year, right?
Yeah.
And he undersold me on the $300,000, by the way. But on that day, that's when he gave me the goal. The goal was to be a vice president. And so then it was, if you don't get there by 40 in a company like this, you probably won't get there. And because he says you have nothing in your toolbox, right? I had not finished school. I didn't have certifications. I had no specialization in what I was doing. And so he's like, look, you got a lot of boxes that you got to go check. And you can't stay in a job more than 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Because to get there, you got to keep moving.
Right.
And so so that goal set the place I wanted to go and be. And then a lot of the mentoring that he was giving me along the way, that was, it set the time frame. I knew, okay, the first year I'm gonna come in and learn the job. The second year I'm gonna just deliver results, get my name in the paper, and then I'm gonna be ready to move off and get my next promotion. Right? And so then I was talking to mentors about, challenges that I would be facing, like whether it's team challenges or my first leadership, position challenges or what have you. But ultimately that goal was everything.
Yeah.
It was the driving force behind, how I looked at my life,
Right.
how I looked at the decisions that I made for, relationships and where I live.
Right.
And, I moved away because I could not get to that job by just staying in Nashville.
Right.
And working in this company, it's not unlikely you're going to be able to come in entry level at one location and then work your way
up.
Yeah.
You have to move. And, and some advice he gave me was, you got to show people you're willing to take a risk, for your career.
Okay.
Right? Because if you're not willing to risk it, it's like, oh, well, I want to have this great life and this great career, but, I got to live in this city right here because, I got to make sure I'm a mile away from my cousins and what have you. Okay, well,
That's
if
the
you constrict
I.
it to
Yeah.
right here, then
Right.
you know, what
Yeah.
I mean, then you
Right.
you might not be ready to take these risks.
Yeah.
You know, to move and kind of grow or what have you, right? So, and we've even incorporated some of that in the app. You know,
Okay.
we ask questions like, where do you want to live in 5 years? Because you should think about that because getting away from your context
Right.
gives you more context.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because so many people get comfortable in where they is. Sometimes like you said, that's the big gamble. You need to kind of go out there. You know what I'm saying?
And never leave.
See how other people are doing it.
Right.
Right, right.
The first place I lived when I left Nashville was in South Florida, so in Fort Lauderdale area, and just riding,
Broward County.
riding, on the beach and seeing people's houses and their cars and and how they move. Again, it's why what you see and that you can connect it to the kind of life that you want. That going back to your question about do you have to do the technology differently from middle school versus high school?
Right.
Well, no, because if you want to make a lot of money and drive this kind of car and this kind of house, that's going to resonate.
That's gonna resonate with you.
And so so here are the kind of careers that you're gonna need.
Right. Yeah. Because I remember the days of me sitting on the porch. I mean, that's my car.
Bingo.
Bingo.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just wish I had somebody tell me, well, if you want that car, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We get so distracted too.
Yeah.
And so we get a lot of great advice from people, and people want to, help a lot, but it's not organized.
Yeah.
And it's not bite-sized in a way that you can, make action on it every day.
Right.
And so that's why, we, these goals are right here. These plans to achieve these goals are right here.
Right.
Your career navigator is right here to simplify it. And if you want to change the career, we'll go look at some others.
Yeah.
But just to keep you kind of moving forward and seeing your plan, right? Because you also, we get out there and we see 1,000 different ways, to get rich. And so you start down 17 different ones,
right.
But really, like when you see yourself making progress on the things that are important to you, that's gonna keep you focused.
That's gonna keep you focused. Yeah.
Right.
No, that's facts.
How long did it take you to develop that?
Man, I can tell you since I've been full time on it, it's been 10 months.
10 months.
10 months of a development, project. But I've worked on this 3 different times, in the course of to getting to this point.
Right.
And so,
Is that because the technology maybe wasn't quite there yet?
When I first had the idea, we were on websites.
Wow.
Like my early, schematics and things are, their website mock-ups.
Got you.
But it was all the same graphs and, same approach that I wanted to have on screen. But yeah, I mean, it was pre-apps, so kind of dating me, a little bit. But but we also feel, pretty excited that, there's still an opportunity to do it. Something that we had an idea so long ago, that even over the years, where, it's still needed, and nobody's really addressing it, that way. And so, but yeah, I mean, it's the last 10 months have been super intensive.
Yeah.
Thinking through it, from the things that you do outside of the code, the things that you do, research wise, I mean, I, am intimate with 2,000 or with 1,000 careers, right? Like, exactly what they do, every salary, data point and, what's going on in different industries and so forth, so we try to simplify all this stuff. So, some of it is the design, aspect is really crucial. And then, and I had a team of developers, right?
Okay. How you pick the team?
We interviewed companies.
Okay.
And, and because, we've been, self-funding and, really, the we is I got a couple of technology primes, with me. But, and so you're looking for a fit, right? Because, in my previous job, I did a lot of IT, projects like 100,000 IT projects, right? But that's a different, field when now I'm the customer and it's personal,
Right.
Investment. And so you're interviewing, looking for the fit. You're trying to see how slick they are in the design. How crisp they are, and just how credible they come across. Like are they. When they present themselves to you, are they talking about best practices with testing? you have app designers. Okay, well, iOS designers, Android designers. How long have they been working? What cool stuff have they done? So you're trying to look for all that. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to price.
Right. At the end of the day, yeah.
Who got the most skills and the lowest price?
Yeah.
So I was fortunate to be able to partner with a former, colleague from my previous, life that started a system integration firm. And so, I was comfortable with him as an individual and what they, could do. So, so it all kind of came together, that way.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yes, sir, man. So what's the key steps to make a great app?
Man, you can lose a lot of money and a lot of time in software, projects, right? Because
Why is that, homie?
because there's 1,000 different reasons, but when you come up with an idea, it's in your head, right? And getting the idea just on paper in notes in written form is difficult. But then translating that into something visual,
right?
Like how you want people to feel,
right,
when they're going through those steps,
right?
Everything in this app, I think about if a person's on the go, they're thinking about a goal, how easily can they go and update, something, right? It's you really have to be able to visualize, the end. You got to be able to stay on top of things, because when the project gets going, it's not just we say, okay, we're going to build this, and we're going to definitely build all of this, right? Because things will start to fall out of the the project, because you got so much time that you got to work, and there's a lot of testing that's got to come up, and so you'll find that this is a little bit too hard. Like maybe we got to put that for another release,
right.
But this right here is going to be a lot of value, and we can do something extra, here, right? So you kind of trading off, different things, trying to keep the vision, in mind as you're working through it, but you got to be operationally sound. You got to be, kind of project management, focused, right?
Because like you said, you wanted to build a product for that. You say they'd be able to download stuff quick, and it's pretty simple just to go to, not to be so, I guess,
technical.
Technical. And I know you probably wanted to look kind of dope too,
right? Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
And so getting all of that right is hard.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, because making it,
I seen all the flashcards you had.
I was just going to say that. I said it is. I said,
and I love it.
I was just going to say that. I said, because I seen what you was working on. Like, wow.
I analyzed so many different apps, and different types of apps. I've analyzed.
I was going to ask you about
calendars.
Android and iOS app. So
well, and even that, the Android versus iOS. Our first release is going to be on iOS.
Okay.
Only. And that's because that's more native, to me, and I want to get it hardened in that one piece before we then move it to Android.
To the Android,
right?
okay.
So that we're not just kind of developing pieces and pieces on both platforms. Get it tight, and then roll it out to Android. And so we're gonna be working really hard on that over the next 3 months.
Do you contact people from Apple to do that too? Like, you have to talk to them?
Yeah.
Because that's their software.
Correct. Yeah.
So y'all got to be communicating.
The market path is through
Apple.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
So we're on
that's huge,
what's
man.
called Test Flight, which is the beta testing app store.
Okay.
Right. So. Imagine that first day, having this idea for so long, and that first time that I saw my app, on the beta test store, and
Get a Google
absolutely. Able to download it and everything,
right.
And when you're going through that the grueling, entrepreneurial glut of trying to make a great product that looks good,
right.
That has taken a lot of complicated information and simplifying it down to something that makes anybody be able to get it and understand it.
Yeah.
Again, you got to make some trade-offs, and it's going to be some hard corners, and somewhere. But I think this is our first release, and so what they typically call that as an MVP, or the minimum viable product.
Gotcha.
And I feel like we've really exceeded what people expect in an MVP.
Yeah.
But we're going to continue to evolve it and make it a lot bigger, and listen to customer feedback and things like that. But it takes a lot to be able to go from idea to delivery.
Right.
It really does.
Did you learn things that you didn't know when you was doing this? Did you did it kind of test you a little bit to like, dang, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
You know, a big one is,
Yeah.
you know, I spent 20 years building, you know, a skill set in, you know, in what I was working in before.
Right.
And not much of that transferred.
To what you doing now, yeah.
So you're learning.
You're learning. I
Yeah.
mean, but
Yeah.
you know, but again, that's also the thing is,
Yeah.
you know, in your life, you know, we got 49-ish years to put points on the board in our life, right?
Right.
And so we make decisions, right, from 18-ish to you know the time that we retire. Right. I mean, this is our, you know, I mean, your life is you're the CEO of your company.
Yeah.
And you making decisions on how much am I going to invest in myself so that I can be able to earn and keep earning and going up and going up.
Right.
You know, and I remember I had jobs where I thought I was really proud of myself and what I was making, you know, and then we'd go out of town or something and, you know, meet a guy and he'd be like, oh, you know, it's like you're not even 40 yet. You're not even making money, you know, yet. You know, and it's like
People try to son you like that.
Yeah. But you know, but your goals get bigger though.
Yeah.
You know, and you just realize that, okay, well, really you always gotta be learning something more.
Right.
You know, and be comfortable being uncomfortable. You know,
Right. I heard that a lot.
Talk about uncomfortable. 2022 was the year of discomfort for me.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, you took a big jump, man.
Yeah, man. So what's the sacrifice you had to take in 2022?
Well, I mean, the biggest part, and it was a lot of even, you know, like mentally, you know, things that I had to deal with because, you know, having a life where, you know, your entire, you know, day, your week, your month is on a calendar, right? And you got handlers and, you know, assistants and, you know, large groups of people and so forth, and you're in demand and, you know, you're on calls all the time, you know, like, you know, I thought I would be okay not being in the mix like that all the time, you know? So, you know, so waking up, you know, certain days, you know, like, you know, having a dream that I was in a meeting and everybody was around and woke up and it's like, nope, it's just me. You know, the solitude I had to, you know, to really get comfortable. You know, with that, and you know, to sacrifice being away from the team. I love, you know, leadership and you know, leading large teams and so forth. And it's cool because it's a time, you know, because you know I'll eventually be back in that kind of, you know, environment and what have you with you know, with Vertical Life, but also you know, sacrifice. I mean, you know, a real material one. I mean, that's, you know, you got to go all in.
Yeah.
I mean, I've you know, put all of my personal, you know, wealth into this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and so, you know, transitioning from, you know, you always hear, you know, entrepreneurs say, you know, you got to be ready to transition from a W-2, you know, kind of thing.
I heard that. I've been hearing that a lot these last 2 months.
Yeah. But see, for me, I mean, I always had an aggressive career. So my career was never stagnant. You know what I'm saying? And so moving from that to, you know, doing my own thing, you know, that's a lot that, you know, I'm leaving on the table, walking away from, you know, so that's sacrifice.
Right.
And so deciding to, well, all the skill set and, you know, capability that you built, that stuff is going to be helpful. Right. But right now, you know, like you're going to have to learn a lot. You know? I mean, learning, you know, fundraising strategies, you know, for startups, you know, modeling software as a service, you know, businesses for, you know, 5 years out to be able to prove, okay, if I price it this way and structure the business this way, you know, we can actually, you know, get this, right? I mean, I had to learn a ton. I mean, I probably, you know, read 20 books in, you know, the first like 4 to 5 months of 2022, just, you know, just to be comfortable that, you know, that, you know, understanding the runway that I have, because again, it's personal, you know.
It's personal investment.
So, you know, and I, you know, and so I wasn't, you know, working, you know, full time because I need to do that full time, right? And, you know, so I was going all in, you know, I mean, you know, my you know, it's certainly not my biggest possession, but I mean, like my G-Wagon. You know
He was telling me that, man.
I had to, you know, put the take the equity out of the G-Wagon and put it back into the business. You know what I'm saying? You know, so but you go all in.
But you go all in,
you know what I'm saying? And,
something you want too.
Is it like for the apps? Like, is it a lot that you got to be careful of not to like kind of copyright people's apps? Like, is that
that's a big
thing too? Because I don't want like a company like, man, he's using my platform like the same type of, you know what I mean?
And some aspects of it is well, there's various, you know, because some of it is like, you know, just the name and, you know, trademarks and protecting your name rights, but
just how an app works,
some of the content that goes in it, like the numbers and things, you know, like we use predictive forecasting, basically, where we model out, certain careers. But we start with data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And so it is, it's data that they publish, but they publish it openly and make it available to everybody.
Right.
So
Right.
You can include it in presentations and so forth.
Okay.
And so you just have to cite it. And
I
stuff
got
like
you.
that. So that's like kind of one layer.
Okay.
And then we build off that and say, well, actually, if you did this and did that and did that, then what you could make is this, right? It starts from data that's available, but then we, add
You kind of you got to tweak it a little bit.
on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the copyright, stuff is something that you definitely gotta worry about, and and you're not.
I just want you to get a phone call from GoDaddy and be like, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
come on, dog, your menu is kind of like mine."
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Those pieces. The one thing about it is that a lot of these technology elements when in an app, they're all. Like the pieces are the pieces, right?
Yeah,
so
right,
a timeline is a timeline.
Okay.
Right? So there's multiple types of timelines that you can
that you can
have,
use,
right?
yeah.
Menu bars and options. I mean, Apple has got its own style guide, right? And so it'll tell you, here's what we recommend, how you do it. But there's different types of menus and different ways that you can do it, right?
Got you.
So nobody can say, hey, you can't use a menu because I got a menu. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I got you.
We all got to be able to menu our way. Right. So you take inspiration from things, and that's what I always say to my designers and development team is, look, here's some inspiration that I took from apps that I've seen, right? Like that's what you guys, saw, like all those screens. I mean, I cut out all of those things and put them on the walls so I can see the flow of what the experience of the user would be if it looked like this and if it flowed like that and if those components and pieces, working, together. So, so you can take inspiration from it, but you definitely don't want to, let me just go do exactly, what they did. It's
Copy
a fine
and
line.
paste type stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So how did you build a career that you love?
Well, what I would recommend to people now versus how I did it, I would not recommend how I did it. Because you ask people, well, hey, I wouldn't change anything about my life because my life is great and I learned every lesson and blah blah blah. Well, actually, I would have liked a shorter path.
I got you.
Shorter path to the money.
I got you. Yeah.
I gotta go ring around the roses again.
Right.
The shortest distance. So so for me, building a career that I loved, I fell in love with the process of going after that job, right? Of getting ready to be in that ultimate job, So it's like I had to have product management experience. So I took a product management job and I killed it in that job because I was like, man, once I get to that job, a couple of jobs later, I'm gonna have this product management experience. I'm gonna have this experience, that experience. Like I'm gonna kill it.
You gonna kill it.
Yeah. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But how I, did it was more to my mentor's credit. Because I wouldn't have ever thought that, like I should go be a global vice president and, have all this worldwide responsibility and, build strategies for businesses and, and compete in the marketplace and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I wasn't, I just didn't have that, So if he didn't point the way for me, my life would be very different.
Gotcha.
And so because he did and he made it so, simple, per se, what built my career was just going after it. Like sticking to it.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like, just all these principles I just try to put in this app, like when I got my project management certification, well, that was for a job that I was in. I needed that to be great in that specific job.
Right.
But when I got that, I realized, man, everybody needs a project management certification because your life is so many projects.
Right.
Exactly. And if you don't know how to start with the end in mind and kind of bound that work off and keep yourself disciplined and moving towards it and not getting distracted until you hit the end.
Yeah.
That was 70% of the work that we did. No matter which group you in, you got to get stuff, done. So, my mentor helped me, build my career. But what I would say to people now is think about the kind of life that you want and what you love to do. And, get the idea of the career that's going to take to fulfill the kind of life that you want.
Right.
If you want to have this great life, you jet setting and, what have you, you totally can do it.
Yeah.
You totally can do it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be watching TikTok.
Right.
It's not going to be watching TikTok and Instagram and looking at 79 different ways to make money, right? Because a lot of us are too focused on the passive. It's like, okay, well, I got 7 passive income streams, but my main earned income stream, my career, is not strong enough to really make those really successful.
Yeah.
So I just would be, really, really focused on getting that career that I loved, right, and then getting the education required to make that to compete in that career.
Yeah.
And whether you go to TSU or Harvard or whatever school to get it, you gotta know if you go in there. Here's what it takes to be successful. Go get that, and then be ready.
Be ready
to compete.
I love it. Compete, people. Get out there and compete.
For sure, man.
Man, I keep hearing this thing you was talking about, Ricardo. People leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
How does folks leaving money on the table, man?
Yeah. I'm going to oversimplify it because everybody's got to appreciate where they are and decisions that they've taken or what have you, right? So it's a big oversimplification,
right?
But because you know me from high school, right?
Yes,
Because of me knowing my start versus a lot of my peers, starts. We all really in the same spot, right?
Right.
And so. If I would tell myself now, you got these 49 years to get to this money. Okay. And so, your pace and your trajectory that you're going to go is going to be decided very, very early. Because if you weren't excited about school and learning in high school, then you're probably not excited about school and learning in college.
Right.
Then you're probably not curious to go and do a cool career that might pay you more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you take a lower path because maybe you don't want to work hard or you don't want to spend any money or what have you. I've put, over $200,000, into my education. You know what I'm saying? To be able to compete at a very, very high level.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, I knew kind of the level that I was going to have to compete at, in my early 20s.
Gotcha.
So I was able to kind of pace that out.
Yeah.
And keep, getting certifications.
Right.
Get my undergraduate degree.
Yeah.
So I had to do it all at once. But,
Right.
it took me about, 14, 15 years to get that full package, of the education. And so, I just think, man, you can go a lot of different directions in those 49 years when you're coming out, 18-ish, right?
Yeah.
I just think you got to be clear. You got to start fast. You got to invest in yourself, truly invest in yourself. Your income is a function of, how much knowledge and skills that you have that can be monetized.
Yeah.
And so if you haven't put that, in, then you're gonna get less, right? And again, like with the app, we show not just how much you can earn, but what the cost of that career, is, right? You're gonna probably have to spend $30,000 on an undergrad degree. You probably have to spend $200,000 on, a professional degree, right? Being a doctor and, a residency and stuff like this, right? So we're trying to show you the return on investment, the ROI of that career so that we can break this whole conversation about, do I need an education or not? Yes.
Yes.
If you're going to be a plumber, you have to go and learn to be the best plumber.
That's right.
You have to stay abreast of all of the trends, all the technology, everything that's best practices in that field to keep moving up and keep, earning your money.
Yeah.
Right? So if you want to run a business, yes, you should go to business school. Yes, you should.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that you have to understand when you're running a business.
Right.
And it's not just waking up one day, I'm ready to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
And, and I think I have a good idea. It's the product management, marketing, sales, pricing, commercialization. There's just so many things that you're just not going to pick up, watching videos and, just doing, short stuff, right? You need an organized package of knowledge.
Yeah.
Right. And so it could be a certification. It might be a 2-year degree, a 4-year degree,
a
master's degree or what have you. Right. But, you leave money on the table when you're not clear about where you're going to go. And when, you're sitting in one job for too long. Yeah. Not taking yourself seriously.
Right.
Not pushing yourself to be the best. If you've not been uncomfortable in various points of your career, I think that you leaving money on the table.
Man, y'all give it up for that.
Yeah. to make that money, you're gonna have to be uncomfortable.
You got to.
Yeah. That's dope.
Why being a boss isn't for everyone? That's what I want to know.
It's something I thought about in the last question was, we watch athletes, right?
Yes.
And, I grew up around, a lot of athletes, my brothers, my people that's like my cousins, what have you. And, when I see how hard they work, to ball at the high school level, to ball at the college level, to ball at the NFL level, that's the same thing in your career. Like, and that's just their job.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Your job might, you might be the dog catcher. So how hard did you work at it? And are you just the entry-level dog catcher? Or are you, the main one, deciding, how we going to, catch all the dogs in the neighborhood?
Training them, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, being a boss, I don't think everybody's ready to compete, because your altitude is is going to be driven by how hard you're coming in and being committed and so forth. And I just think that again, if you haven't put a lot into organized education for yourself, yet you're ready to step into I'm going to go into this, big lead, role or what have you. Yeah. I just feel like it's a little bit false, you know what I'm saying? Because, like Ball and MJG said, you got to pay the cost to
be the boss. Right. And I see what you're saying.
And so you just, you can do things and have success. Totally, man. But it's just a level of work and commitment that, I think it takes to really pay off.
Right. Because I think about all the bosses I had. You didn't go to school, did you, dude? It's funny that you say that because when you say everybody ain't meant to be the boss, like, damn, he's the boss, but
like everybody is not a leader.
He knows nothing.
Right. I look at my job like
but
everybody's
boss
not a leader.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know how to lead people.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, bro.
And all that come with attitude.
Everything.
How you talk to folks.
Being a people person.
Right.
That leader piece is huge because when you have a team of people that are working with you, you want to get them excited about what they can be,
right,
and their potential,
right?
And hey, like here's how this job, can really help you hit your career goals. And sometimes you run against a manager that's not capable to be a manager, certainly not a leader,
right?
And you get totally turned off by the career experience.
Yeah.
And so then that goes with you to every career experience because you just happen to have some bad managers.
Yeah.
But actually, there's great companies out there that got great leaders at every, or a lot of positions, And so, like with me, it's like, I had 2 years where I had a really terrible, boss out of 20, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was fortunate, that way, but I was also bought in and a good leader and a good company get you bought in and excited, like, I want to be a part of this thing.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? I want to be on this journey with them. Because and a lot of our community, by the way, are not bought into their career because they don't buy into companies and they don't trust companies and. You see something about Kanye West and look how they did Kanye West, and so you see they definitely ain't gonna give me a shot, and it's not true like that.
Yeah.
You can't be doing nonsense.
Right.
That's look good,
but it's just, but I definitely, man, it's still been a hard transition, into entrepreneurship, but I'm so happy that. I feel a lot more comfortable about it because of, working in corporate, and having all that structure around me and competing there and seeing a lot of smart and bright people. And so I could trust, okay, the things that I've learned, you know what?
Yeah.
I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
I think I'm
the
ready.
skin glowing and everything.
The pick up back on that, like everybody not like meant to be a boss, like, can you honestly say that that's maybe like why some companies may fail because of the leadership not being, not being at the top of their game and it trickles down. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I sit here and think about a lot of the jobs that I was on, like, damn, they asked me to be a lead, but I don't want to be a lead if you over here pulling your hair out every day.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's the same. That's the same thing. It's like, well, if I can take on, people may take to me more because I'm be more relatable.
Right.
Yeah. So you sell yourself short.
Right.
I'm gonna answer that just a little bit different than how you how you asked it.
Okay.
A lot, we come into our first job, and no matter what education you did, like you come into that first job early in your life, early 20s,
Yeah.
And you got an opportunity to make a decision to say, I'm gonna work at this kind of entry level, and just kind of bob and weave at this level, or I want to go be the team leader, then I want to go be the manager, then I'm gonna go be the senior manager, then I'm gonna go be the director, and keep moving up, and so the degree to which you buy in to the manager that's in front of you,
I got you,
right? Because this your goals.
Right.
It ain't about that manager.
Exactly.
You're gonna have to work around them. You know? And so, I just wanted to answer it a little bit differently than you asked it because
I got you.
I don't think a lot of us have a management mindset. And I think we need to have that.
Okay.
I
got you.
Yeah, because you just, like you can't hate your career, but then you're not trying to move up or you're not trying to, be bought in and, so forth. And so, a lot of us, we wash out really, and not wash out, but related to the earlier question about leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be a manager at some point to keep moving up.
Right.
And if not, you're going to be just settling for a lot.
Yeah.
At the lower level.
Because you got to have the experience.
Yeah, you got to build experience. And you got to be relatable.
Right.
And you got to care about the team.
Right.
You got to
likable guy.
Be likable.
A likable guy,
all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so people got to be rooting for you.
Yeah. But on the low, you got to have that. You got to have that hit list. I'm coming for you, buddy.
Hey, I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for you. Like, yeah.
I want that job.
I want that job.
Yeah. It's the same way with these quarterbacks and with sports and whatever. It's like, man, like we got a number 2 and a strong number 3 over here, and the person in the job right now is okay. Yeah. But we could probably find them something else to do, because if we go put this number 2 and number 3 and give them the grooming they need to be in this role, I think they could be really exciting in a leadership position.
And it's funny. And it's funny that you say that, because I was watching when we got Malik for the Titans, and then when they asked Tannehill, you gonna help him out? Tannehill was like, hell no, that's not my job. And for a minute, when I heard him say that, I was like, man, damn, that's fucked up. But in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, damn.
No, you ain't gonna take my job.
I'm not finna train this dude to take my job. So I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
He still ain't took it.
Yeah. you hear a lot in you hear a lot in in companies that first your career is is yours to manage.
It's yours. Yeah.
The HR teams will always say that. So basically, it's code for don't expect us to give you a raise just because you come to work every day or what have you. Like you got to decide if you're gonna move up in a company, or not. But also, from a different perspective, as leaders, and as good leaders, my mentors always said, you work your way out of a job. Like you build a team so good around you that they killing it on their own. So now we're gonna move you up because what you just did to build this team, pull off these results, oh, we definitely got to move you. You got to move you around and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so that. Like a good leader is not fearful of giving knowledge to people that work for them. Like I want to see you succeed. So let me tell you how I got to this job. I did these 7 things right here. Man, I know what they're looking for at this level. And and maybe you do a couple of those well, but you need to focus on this stuff. And if you do that with no fear, I just feel like,
and you kind of gotta have an unselfish attitude too.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people's problem, man. People so self-loathing.
Yeah.
They don't wanna give them, man, drop it, man. You know what I'm saying? Drop the gym on them.
Won't do it.
That's the problem though.
Yeah. That's a lot in our community too,
especially in ours, man. They don't want to give us that, man.
And if you have that leader, that's also not pushing themselves. Like, well, I might be the manager, but I'm not aggressive, So rather than continue to play offense in my career, I'm just going to maybe chill right here and just try to ride this thing out.
Yeah.
With 49 years,
if
you're not trying to move up over the course of 49 years, then a lot of folks are really dissatisfied with their careers, right? And so I just think you got to look at it differently. You know, like look at yourself as a company.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm a company.
I'm a company, right.
I can go make some really good decisions and take my life as far as I want to.
Yeah.
You know, or I can decide, well, really, I'm not going to, you know, put a lot of money on this and that because I don't think that knowledge really helps me that much. Well, you know, it's a crossroads that you hit really fast in life, man.
Right, already.
You know? Yeah. And so again, you know, it's like I'm trying to insert this technology in there to help people connect these dots.
Got you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Connect these dots because if you're looking at it visually as a checklist of I'm going to this career, I'm gonna make this kind of money, I gotta go do this, this, and this. I just think visually you also realize that life is about, you know, how far you go and the trajectory that you go, you know, versus, you know, you get into one job and then just kind of plant roots and just you know, kind of, all right, we here.
Stay
you know,
here.
we'll be right here. You know, like, no, let's move.
Let's move. Yeah,
you're
Let's
right.
move to this place.
Yeah.
And man, like that place was real different than this other place we're gonna move to. And you know, but
exciting.
But you moving up.
Yeah.
You're making more.
Yeah.
Your moments with your family, your friends are all different. You know what I mean? And it's like, and that's what vertical life is. You know, like, you know, going up and growing, you know, in a lot of different places and just having a mindset that's open, you know, to that kind of growth. You
That's
know?
dope.
And I want to ask this, Ricardo. Did you get, what the hell are you doing?
Well, the biggest one from my mom.
Yeah.
Because I had to ask that.
Right.
Yeah, the biggest one from my mom. You know, my family is, you know, we've had to pull back on, you know, certain spending, you know, habits
Right, for sure.
and
For
so
sure.
forth, you know. And,
Yeah.
You know, selling them on division, you know, like hey, you know, I mean, you know how, you know, where we were and where we've been able, you know, to get to and you know, but also, you know, being transparent about, you know, here's what I'm thinking and here's what I think it, you know, can be. And yes, I understand the risk, you know, but I also have trained,
Yeah.
you know, have invested in myself, you know, knowledge-wise to be able to understand the risk.
Gotcha.
You know, I know if we got this much in the tank, but we got to get here. You know, I understand what are the biggest decisions that we got to make to be able to give ourselves a great chance to execute this thing.
Exactly.
You know, and so I had to, you know, talk my mom through my business plan and, you know, like really get her comfortable. You know, you know,
like, okay,
that was probably my biggest detractor.
You had to show her the points.
Yeah. But
because I mean,
she's on
you,
board though.
Yeah, you the baby, man. You wanna, you know, she wanna see her baby to make it.
Mama,
you know?
so this is this is this. Okay?
I can hear my mama
for next year.
Right.
We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay.
I can hear my mama, boy, you a fool. You gonna quit this bike P to do what?
Boy, you on a 28 pull-up.
What is wrong with you?
Trying to go back to a duplex. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Trying to go back to a duplex.
Yeah.
No.
But like you said, you work, you already, like you said, you put in the work, put in the sacrifice, and you don't put on this armor for that, for this. Like, you know it's gonna be tough, but I'm battle tested for this.
Yeah.
I know I can do it.
That's the mindset I go into.
Yeah.
Some days, you know, some days you get hit in the mouth. You know, I mean, it's a lot of days I wake up not confident.
I got you.
You know, like, you know, like, I mean, every single thing. No matter how many strategies that I've been super successful at, you know, in the past in my career, different, you know, job situations or what have you, you know, and I'm very comfortable putting a strategy together and a financial model. I'm very comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, but everything changes.
Yeah.
You know, and so you try to plan as much as you can,
right,
and have some contingencies.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, it's days when things move to the right, and you know, and I don't feel strong. You know what I'm saying? I don't. You know, feel like, man, you know, I just made a terrible, you know, decision. You know, here. I mean, you know, so, but again,
some sleepless nights.
Oh man, brother.
Yeah.
Brother.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like, hey man, I was just playing.
Yeah. I know it, man. I know it, dude.
But the fear, you know, again, the discomfort. If you've never really just been, you know, uncomfortable about something, I mean, you probably haven't lived really. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, because what's on the other side of that fear, right? Like knowing, like, man, like, you know, we had this plan, and you know, all the days that we felt really good about what we executed on, and days that we, you know, didn't do much, you know, and what have you, and you get on the other side of it, and you start to see it work. You know, like that's what life's about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Challenges.
Man, you know, I mean,
obstacles.
Because that feeling,
Yeah.
on the other side makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
And then you'll mount up again.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what? Now I became a senior manager on my job.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go to director. Because they make it $75,000 more a year than I am as senior manager.
Yeah.
You know? And you get there and it's like,
You doing half
look
the
at
work.
how far we have climbed.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm ready. Yeah.
That's dope, man.
When will the app be available?
So we're still in beta testing, right now, and I could tell you, I've probably set 14 different launch dates for it, and then you discover something else or what have you, and so we're gonna launch at the beginning of the second quarter, so right around the start of March.
Okay.
We really wanted to have a launch window that was going to be at the kind of back end of 2022.
Okay.
So like as you were starting to think about your turkey and stuff, we're going to start, sneaking in some, what about your goals and, and all that stuff, we moving away from New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
We working on goals and plans and, and every day, taking steps and doing, different things. And so, we just, we were working with some really cool lead customers, and as those lead customers have come into play, it's taught us to think differently about the technology and what we can do when we first go live.
Okay,
right? Because now it went from we're going to be selling it to individuals to actually these schools want it. And first we were thinking, okay, some maybe a few underperforming high schools was like, most of the public school systems are underperforming. And most of the states are reporting that people are not going to college, and the numbers are going to keep going down. Okay, if you're not going to college, then we got to help you be able to make a better decision in high school.
With your life.
In high school.
Yeah.
So, if we could do that.
Okay.
But so as you work with those organizations and you hear what they need, and, it's like, one of the customers is like, if you could tell me if I could, put 1,000 people in my organization on this app, and you could tell me all the careers that they wanted to be in and how much money they could make in the future and all these things. Yeah. It's like, wow, that'd be a game changer for us. So it's like, wow, okay. So you think about different things, and so you don't want to work that stuff in. But we're gonna, so we're finishing some things for, those types of customers that we got to be really tight when we, launch.
Okay.
And so, it'll be around March the 1st that, we're targeting. You can, follow us on Instagram at, Vertical Life app, and, our socials are Vertical Life, app across the piece.
Okay.
Our website is, got coming soon, but, verticallife.com.
Okay.
Yes,
and so, follow us on Instagram, we're about to start focusing on the social media, aspect. I've been so focused on product.
Cool.
Yeah.
Making the
Gotta
product,
get the product right.
and so forth, to where, I'm not really comfortable, doing a bunch of talking.
I got you.
Stuff, I want to let the product speak for itself.
I
had a customer that told me, and this is a guy for one of the school boards that we're working with in the Northeast, and he said, Ricardo, this is an equalizer app. He says, this is the foundation. He says, this is home run Hall of Fame stuff. And, for somebody that has been in the education system for so long, and he talked about, how they've kind of created biases and how we looked at education and we haven't prepared kids for it.
Yeah.
To hear him say that about, an idea that, I had, kid, coming out of, Nashville, Madison, Tennessee, and they hear somebody, who's qualified in this to say that. Yeah. That blew me away.
And felt, I know you felt good.
And all those days where you wake up, not so confident and, afraid or whatever, okay, that's why we keep going.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Man.
That's dope, man.
You got anything, man?
I don't, man.
Man, brother Ricardo, we want to thank you for coming again, man. And
man.
we love you, brother. And you keep pushing, man. And thanks for sitting down with the Cypher, man. This is the Cypher with KJ and Mile, where church is always on the move.
That's right.
And we bring the word like Sunday service, man. This is episode 40.
Man.
Vertical Life, man. We're app creator Ricardo Warfield, Nashville native now. So, people out there in Nashville, man, you can do it, man. It's believe me, it's possible.
It's right.
For real, man. Subscribe to the channel, Scattersites Sites Network. It's just me and Mal, man, the Cypher podcast, man. A lot of people don't, we we love y'all. You know, we out there. You know, unpack bags and everything. We brand new this year. So
Yeah.
2023.
2023, man. Music and
Let's
fashion.
go.
You know what I'm saying? So
It'll be good to know what y'all's goals are. You know, I won't put you on the spot, you know, right now. Maybe
It's all
we can
good.
talk about it in a future episode. But,
Yeah, for
sure.
Yes, sir.
But hey, I mean, like
when the app come out, I'm gonna have it.
Just
Yeah.
like any successful business or successful person. I mean, they got specific goals, what they want to accomplish.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Subscribe to the channel, man. Shout out to Les Ball. And,
Yeah.
hey, man. 2023 is gonna be big. We
Yeah.
catch y'all on the next episode of February. I always say right here, church on the move.